The Dodgers blow an opportunity to end the series. They don't sweep the Phillies, and now the Dodgers are up 2-1 with another chance to finish off the Phillies tomorrow in the afternoon at Dodger Stadium. It was an ugly night here at Chavez Ravine, and we're breaking it all down next. We're going to hear from the players in the Dodgers clubhouse, Yamamoto, Dave Roberts, and more. That's coming up next on the Dodgers Nation postgame show.
Mookie Betts with his 15th
Mookie Magic! This Dodgers team is built to win back-to-back World Series.
One-of-a-kind player! One-of-a-kind season! Freeman hits the ball, right field! She is gone!
There's nothing that brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to the Dodgers Nation post-game show, the #1 Dodgers post-game show on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain. I cover the Dodgers for Dodgers Nation. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Thanks for rocking with us after the Dodgers get blown out in Game 3 of the NLDS. The Philadelphia Phillies wearing those throwback blue uniforms that they had to jump through hoops just to wear. Well, clearly those jerseys, they played a part tonight because Kyle Schwarber woke up. He hit 2 home runs, one off Yamamoto, one off Clayton Kershaw. And this Dodgers offense, they don't do enough early. Some sloppy defensive play. Max Muncy, Andy Pahes a little bit. Shohei Ohtani still struggling in this series. Just one hit. He's 1 for 14 off of lefties in this series. And what I say yesterday, what I say today, you got to finish this team off because they're not going to go out lightly. There's too much talent over there. There's too much expectations. And now you're in a situation where you're going to have to find a way to win tomorrow with Tyler Glasnow on the mound. And Christopher Sanchez is a guy that is a fantastic pitcher in his own right. It's not going to be easy. So we're going to break it all down. Lots to get into here on the Dodgers Nation post-game show. And really the first big takeaway in this one, I think the story of this game from the outset is Yoshinobu Yamamoto just did not look like that ace-level starter that he's been throughout the year, the guy that's going to finish behind Paul Skeens in the National League when it comes to Cy Young, the guy that had been fantastic against the Cincinnati Reds in the wild card round. He just did not have it tonight. And one thing that the Dodgers have done with this starting rotation is you've gotten quality starts. You've gotten 5, 6, 7 innings out of these guys. First 4 postseason games for the Dodgers, they've gotten at least 6 innings from their starter. And tonight, Yamamoto only able to go 4 innings, allowed 3 runs on 6 hits in this one. And really what stood out to me is the splitter just wasn't splitting. I mean, that's a pitch that he needs. It runs away to righties. You can use it down the zone. And tonight, he just did not have that splitter like we've seen him have throughout this year. And that's definitely a concern. I mean, was it the feel? We're going to hear from Yamamoto here in a couple of seconds, but that's clearly something that really stands out from his game. Tonight, Yamamoto, he threw 12 splitters 18% of the time, and you weren't seeing the swing and miss. You weren't seeing the big production that pitch usually brings. He leaned on the fastball in this one, and really the moment that got to Yamamoto in this one is the Dodgers. They actually had an early lead. I mean, they had a 1-0 lead after a Tommy Edman home run off of Ranger Suarez there in the 3rd inning. So you're feeling good about that. The Dodgers did blow a valuable opportunity, and really the offense overall, they just did not look good. They did not look locked in. They did not put together great at-bats. Shohei Ohtani went 0 for 5. Teoscar Hernandez 0 for 4. Freddie Freeman 0 for 3. Smith and Kike 1 for 4 and 1 for 2 apiece. Muncy went 2 for 4, but did ground into a big double play when the Dodgers did have an opportunity to score some runs late in this one when it felt like that was going to be really their best opportunity there in the 6th inning when it was still a 3-1 game after a Will Smith 1-out single and a Teoscar Hernandez 1-out single, back-to-back base hits for the Dodgers in the 6th inning. Max Muncy comes up to the plate. You had Dave Roberts pinch hitting for Miguel Rojas, Andy Pahes. So Andy Pahes was taken out, and then Miguel Rojas was going to bat. They go with Max Muncy at the plate, and he ends up grounding into a 4-6-3 double play to end the inning. But just not enough from this Dodgers offense. As a group tonight in this one, the Dodgers offense, 8 hits in this one. You go 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. But what really hurt this team was their ace not having it. And I think the first play I look at, the first moment where this game went south for the Dodgers came in the 4th inning after the Dodgers had gotten the lead in the 3rd inning after that Tommy Tank solo shot. Kyle Schwarber, he comes up to the plate, and he had been struggling mightily in this series. He had been going through it. Everyone knows he had been 0 for 20 and dating back to last postseason. So those postseason slumps. And what I say today on Dodgers Dugout Live in the afternoon, I said, the thing that scares me in the postseason is when MVP hitters, when all-star level, MVP level hitters, and mind you, Schwarber's going to finish second to Shohei Ohtani for the MVP, but he's MVP caliber. There's no doubt about that. And when MVP caliber hitters are struggling and are due, that's when you get scared that at some point they're going to run into one, and he did there. And what really hurt was he falls behind the count. Yamamoto's down 2-0 in the count. He missed away with the four-seamer and then a splitter down. And that pitch right there, the third pitch, I mean, we're talking an absolute dead red fastball, middle. And I can already see in the comments, a lot of you guys saying Ben Rortvedt and is Will Smith starting. So Will Smith starts for the first time in 29 days, and the starting pitcher has a bad outing. Is there a correlation there? It's tough to say because, I mean, Yamamoto did not have that splitter. And when you don't have that splitter, that really limits how much he can dominate. He needs that pitch to be effective because it comes out looking like a fastball and it drops off the table. And when they're starting to sit on fastball, when they do get count leverage like Schwarber did in that at-bat where he's up in the count 2-0, they're going to take some chances. And I didn't like the call there by Will Smith. It did feel like anecdotally that there were a lot of moments where he is needing to have a big pitch. He's needing to execute a big pitch, and all of a sudden you see the fingers and it's calling for a fastball. And in that situation, you got a lefty versus a righty, a Schwarber at the plate trying to do damage. He served him a cookie, and he absolutely punished that mistake. Next batter, Bryce Harper on the 1-1. He singled on the splitter that just had no break to it, did not move at all. It was basically a batting practice fastball. Looked like a home run derby level fastball because the splitter did nothing. And then very next batter, Bone, he falls behind the count 3-1, and Alec Boehm, he's able to single on that sinker. That scored another run after that throwing error by Andy Pahes on that play. Yes, it was not a good throw by Andy Pahes, and I do think that Dave is a little fed up with Andy Pahes right now, taking him out of the game. Hasn't been really good at the plate at all this series. But that's a play that Max Muncy's got to get his body in front of that ball. Got to get his legs down. It was not a good night defensively for Max Muncy. We saw in the games in Philly, there was a moment late where the Dodgers were saved by the netting, where they weren't able, they didn't suffer because the run didn't score. But in this one, you get a single with a runner on first, and thanks to a bad throw and bad defense by Max Muncy, he's just got to get in front of that. He's got to play that better. And Andy Pahes needs to settle down. He needs to slow down. He needs to execute better throws. They get a run from that. It makes it a 2-1 game. And then next batter, Marsh, he hits a sac fly to make it a 3-1 game. Next batter, Realmuto, first pitch, another four-seam fastball, middle. Yamamoto did not have it tonight. He did not have it. Leaving stuff out over the plate, not having the feel for that splitter. Fastball command, not sharp. There, another example. Against Realmuto, 96, middle, ground roll double. Thankfully, no runs were scored after that. They got Castellanos looking. Yamamoto struck him out with a four-seamer down and away, but 3 runs on 4 hits in the air there. Just not a good inning for Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and it felt like even at that point you were going to be in that one. It's a 3-1 game. You have a potent offense. You know that Shohei Ohtani's inevitable. Mookie Betts had a triple earlier in the game. Freddie Freeman's always good for a moment, but unfortunately this offense, they just weren't able to string together hits, and you had the opportunity there late, and Muncy ground into that double play, but this really hurts. Like, this definitely changes the outlook of this series. Now, hopefully this time tomorrow we're celebrating the NLDS and the Dodgers advancing, and we're rooting for the Cubs to even that series out, and you want that series to go as long as it possibly can go. But tomorrow, there's pressure on the Dodgers. There's a lot of pressure on this Dodgers team to go out there, and I see the super chats. We got my man Tony Taters. Antonio, he's looking for those super chats. We are live at Dodgers Stadium. We're just in the Dodgers clubhouse, so we'll give you the mood there, quiet, a little subdued, not a lot of guys around there for obvious reasons. They know that you lost with your ace on the mound going up against a guy that had struggled a lot. I mean, he was good his last start, but he had not had a good year in Christopher Nola. And then you got Christopher Sanchez, who really has looked as good as anyone that's taken the mound in this series. That includes Blake Snell and Shohei Ohtani. So the Phillies have some momentum. Tomorrow the pressure's on the Dodgers. Sometimes of all the aces that they do have, the one that you probably just on paper would trust the least would be Tyler Glasnow. But having said that, he does have great stuff, and tomorrow's a great opportunity for him to show that he can be that guy that this team can trust. But lots of pressure on this team. Lots of pressure on this team. You had to feel very confident with your ace on the mound, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, in a clinching opportunity. And the fact that he had won his last 3 games with the Dodgers in clinching opportunities and in big game opportunities, well, it just did not happen. Last year, dating back to last year's NLDS, he had given up 2 unearned runs allowed in 17 and 2/3 innings. 2 unearned runs in 17 and 2/3 innings. So it did just look like he was going to add more to his legacy tonight and just continue that big game pitcher reputation that he had been earning, allowing no hits to the first 10 batters that he faced, and that built his streak to 27 consecutive innings without allowing an earned run, going all the way back to September 12th. So early on, it did look like it was going to be more of the same for Yoshi. Even though he didn't have his best stuff, the results were there. But then things just changed when Kyle Schwarber crushed that bomb. I mean, start of the 4th inning, 455-foot bomb. I'm telling you, this place, the wind, the air just went out of this place. It was like all the momentum, all of the happiness, it just popped. It was a dramatic home run. It felt kind of like a Stantonian blast that we saw in 2015, just one of those dramatic bombs. I'm not saying it was an Adams, it was a Matt Stairs or anything like that, because it wasn't that pivotal, but it was a big momentum shift. And I think for this Phillies team that was looking for their leader to step up and have some big moments, it gave that Phillies team the momentum saying, hey, now our big dog is eating. And when the big dogs start eating for the Phillies, then they start to become a very dangerous offense. So the Dodgers woke up the beast tonight, and that beast, his name is Kyle Schwarber. And now they're going to have to find a way with tomorrow to neutralize him and the offense to come alive, because the last thing you want to do is go back to Philly. I mean, he hits a 455-foot blast, almost cleared Dodger Stadium. It almost absolutely cleared the roof in the right field pavilion. Thankfully, there was no one on base, so it was a solo shot, and you were like, okay, fine, Kyle Schwarber is going to get his at some point. But then that's when the game got ugly. That's when it got ugly. Bryce Harper, Alec Bohm, singles. Andy Pahes throws to third base. And that's the thing, too. Why is Andy Pahes throwing to third base instead of second base? And one, it's a bad decision to make that throw in that situation. 2, if you're going to make that throw, you sure as hell better execute that throw. And he did not in that situation. And it really was the beginning of the end. The Dodgers started to spiral after that. And you just kind of think about the savviness of an Andy Pahes sometimes. Sometimes it's just bad base running, bad decisions in the outfield, and this is a veteran-laden team that needs their guys to make the right decisions in those situations. And I think that Dave Roberts is fed up with Andy Pahes. You're not seeing the production at the plate, and you're seeing mistakes in the outfield. The issue they have now, though, is that Tommy Edman is dealing with an ankle injury, so who plays center field? Because late in the game, Justin Dean made a tremendous catch, but he's not a guy that is going to be an asset in the batter's box. And then Kike Hernandez, he is an option. You could put Kike in. For me, I would put Kike in center and I would put Pahes in left potentially. Because I'm starting to lose my trust in Andy Pahes. And when he bounced that throw, it gets away from Max Muncy, goes into that Dodgers dugout. The second run scores. That puts Bohm at third. And then they scored the third run on that fly ball. So, look, Pahes is the Dodgers' best defensive outfielder. Like, make no mistake about it. Like, the metrics say, from a DRS standpoint, from a UZR standpoint, UZR 150, pick whatever metric you want to use. He definitely has high upside outfield talent, but also his 12 errors this season, that leads all of Major League Baseball. So defensive metrics, advanced defensive metrics aren't an exact science. And I think tonight goes to show that it doesn't matter what you were doing in the regular season. If a moment becomes too big, it can cost you. And that moment really cost the Dodgers in this one because with Yamamoto not having it, you needed to play clean defense to make sure that you're still picking up on the momentum from game two. Remember, what was the story in game two? The wheel play. How many people Googled wheel play? How many casual baseball fans didn't know what that was? Probably a lot, which is totally fine. But my point is that the Dodgers were getting praised for their savvy defense, their play that really saved the game. And in this one, their defense let them down in a major way. And like I said, big takeaway, I think Dave Roberts is going to have some conversations, some real honest conversations about Andy Pahes if this continues, because they pinch hit for Andy Pahes with another right-handed bat against a lefty with Miguel Rojas, and you pinch hit for him with Miguel Rojas, and then you put Justin Dean in center field for the final 2 innings. So he got defensive subbed in this one. So winners and losers in this one, it was a stock down game for Andy Pahes. And then we got to talk about it now. You know what? Let's hear from, we got Yamamoto speaking in the media room right now. So let's hear from Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and then we'll talk Clayton Kershaw. And then I see all your super chats. We'll read all your chats here. I'll read a couple right now. Welcome to the Dodgers Nation post-game show. It's going to be a long one. Live from, here you go. Even though you lost, it's still beautiful, right? That's not a backdrop. That's not a green screen. That's the real deal. That's where Freddie hit his grand slam. That's where the Dodgers hopefully will close out the Phillies tomorrow. Okay, Ryan Montes, $20. Good evening, Dougie. Dougie, we're that cool you call me Dougie? Huh? No, I'm cool. How about I teach you how to Dougie? No, okay. It sucks not to sweep the Phillies, but it's impossible to sweep any team in the postseason. We're not losing this series. Tomorrow seems better. Some kind of wonderful $4.99. The TBS announcers are a couple of dorks. They're East Coast biased clowns, basically rooting for the Phillies. We're the champs, you idiots. Okay, I'm feeling that. $4.99. There you go. Drew $4.99. This ain't a Rocky movie. Hey, Adrian, that ain't you. This ain't a Rocky movie. Them boys going to Cancun tomorrow. 8 p.m. flight out of Burbank. Okay, a little cockiness. I'm okay. Hey, you want to bring up Rocky? Bring up Rocky? This Dodgers team had no business not scoring more than 2 runs tonight. I mean, like, that's the issue tonight. We can talk about Yamamoto. We'll talk about Clayton Kershaw, sure. But the offense, Ohtani 0 for 5. Where's my MVP? Where's our glorious king? 1 for 14 against lefties this series. But I like the Rocky quotes. I'll go into the Rocky vibe, and I'll say this about this Dodgers offense. That's not you. That ain't you. And the world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place. It'll beat your knees and keep you there. It's not how hard you get hit. It's how hard you get hit and get up. The Dodgers need to get up, and this offense needs to show out, and they need to step up, okay? And, yes, you want to sweep, but like Rocky says, the world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. Hey, Adrian. Okay, that's, I promise, the last of the Rocky today. But, yeah, this offense needs to do better. That was just not enough opportunities, not good at bats against Aaron Nola. You had to score early. When Mookie Betts gets a 1-out triple in the first inning, you got to take advantage. And Teo, he struck out swinging, a knuckle curve up in the zone, and that's what Aaron Nola is trying to do. He's trying to get you out in front. He's trying to get you in between on curveballs, and the Dodgers just did not adjust to that. They're not a great team when it comes to those situations against curveballs, against breaking balls, in those situations against Nola, and he'd take advantage. And after Freddie Freeman was even hit by a pitch, he had runners in the corners, and then Will Smith, he struck out, and it was on that curveball. So the curveball was working, and it clearly was a big boost to that Phillies rotation tonight, having a guy that a lot of people said this was a mistake to not go with Ranger Suarez. They go with Aaron Nola, and Aaron Nola was able to step up in a big way. And if I told you that Aaron Nola tonight was going to go 2 innings and get 1 hit with no earned runs, you'd take it if you're the Phillies, because they got 5 innings out of Ranger Suarez, who picks up the win. But all right, let's hear from Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Then we're going to get more clubhouse interviews. We are live at Dodger Stadium here on the Dodgers Nation postgame show.
Just when you look at how you were navigating through the Phillies lineup, how they were able to be aggressive against you, what were you seeing from them, and what do you think just led to them having the edge tonight?
フィリーズの打線手強かったと思うんですけども、何が原因で、向こうに有利になったと思いますか？
立ち上がりから、の入りは、いつもよりも、すごく落ち着いて、冷静に入れたかなと、思いますけど、4回の、失点した回は、先頭にホームラン打たれて、そのまま、続けて3点取られたので、なんとか最初失点で抑えれたら、もっと試合の流れが、変わってたかなと、思います。
Getting into the game, I think I was calm, but that 4th innings, I allowed because a solo home run to the Schwarber, and then after that, because I gave up more runs, and then if I could minimize the damage in that inning, I think because maybe result might have been a little bit different.
Okay, we're gonna go here to Fabian on the right.
Yeah, what was sort of the plan of attack against Schwarber in that second at bat, and what were you trying to do, especially with that fastball that he hit out?
そのシュワバー選手の2打席目に対してどういったアプローチをしようと思ってたんでしょうか。
2打席目は、外を中心に行く、組み立てだったんですけど、ボール先行してしまって。3球目かなのストレートを、うまく打たれました。
My plan was, stay away. Outside, but I fell behind, so I went in a little bit, and then I paid the price.
And it didn't seem like you had the best feel for your splitter today. What did that sort of do to sort of change how you had to attack different hitters?
Sorry, can you repeat again?
It didn't seem like you had the best feel for your splitter tonight. What did that sort of do to sort of change how you had to attack hitters?
今日スプリットの調子が悪かったのかもしれませんが、その代わりにどういったアプローチをしようと思ってました？
全体的には、そんな悪かったわけではなく、スプリットだけ、ちょっとうまく、いいところに投げれなかったので、とはいえストレートもいいボールいってましたし、カットボールだったり、他のボールも、いい球が多かったので、そこでなんとかカバーして、スプリットも、良くなるように工夫しながら、投げてました。
Overall, my stuff wasn't that bad, not necessarily terrible, but because I was trying to use all my pitches, and then my fastball 4-seam was good, and then so I was trying to rely on the other pitches, but it didn't work out.
Anything else for Yam? Good. Okay. Thank you. You guys. Okay. Thank you.
There was Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He said his stuff wasn't that good. As he talked about, and as we talked about at the top of the show, that splitter just was not the pitch that he needed to be. I'm surprised that he didn't go a little deeper into it, but it's understandable. Hey, this guy's all the confidence in the world. I don't think this is anything long-lasting. I don't think that this changes the narrative on Yamamoto. I think he's still a guy that you want out there in the biggest spots. But let's hear from Dave Roberts. I'm really curious to see what Doc says about the defense. Just a bad throw by Pahes, bad decision by Pahes to try to go to third. Then Max Muncy just the inability to kind of get. It's a tough play for Muncy, though. It really is. It's a tough play for Muncy to try to get in front of it the way that he did there in the fourth inning. But still, I mean, that's bad defense on top of bad defense, and I think they'll both tell you that they want that play back. And we'll see what it means for Andy Pahes in the future if they maybe downgrade some of his playing time. We'll see. But here was Dave Roberts after the game just minutes ago.
When you look at the offense tonight, what do you think just kind of limited them, not really able to get anything, string at bats together till late in the game?
I thought we had an early opportunity in that first situational at bat versus Nola, and then they, after 2 innings, they went to Ranger. Tommy leads off that, gets that first homer. And then after that, I just felt that we just couldn't put anything together versus Ranger. The cutter, the sinker, the changeup mix, and just obviously really didn't threaten in any capacity. And he threw the ball well tonight.
Next question. We go to Fabian on the right against the wall.
Yeah, Dave, obviously you guys have done a really good job pitching against Schwarber coming into this game in this series. What is sort of the danger of sort of allowing him to get hot, especially with the game last night?
Yeah, I mean, you make mistakes, you pitch behind. That's what's going to happen. You get 2-0, you try to go fastball away, gets to the big part of the plate, home run, and then, Clayton, I think, tried to go away and then missed middle or, middle up close to him, and it's another homer. So you got to make pitches against those guys. And, they start getting some results and they start feeling good. So, we got to make pitches and work ahead.
Okay, Bill, all the way in the back on the right.
Dave, is it still Tyler tomorrow?
Yeah, Glass will go tomorrow.
And given it's been a while since he started, what do you expect reasonably from him?
I think he's just full go. It was nice to get him in there in Philly. But as far as kind of his buildup, I think it's just a normal start, but we'll just kind of read and react and see how he's throwing the baseball.
Okay, next question. We're going to go Jack on the left.
Well, why do you think Shohei struggled at the plate so much this series, and is part of it just the number of lefties he's seeing and the kind of looks he's getting there?
I think the lefties is part of it, but I just think that his plate, his decision making hasn't been good. You can see, it's balls in off, and he's really not giving himself a chance to, hit a mistake. I just think that he's in between a little bit, but the swing decisions are just not where they need to be right now. That's kind of what I see, swing decision making.
And then you guys used a lot of the relievers tonight. Tanner Scott wasn't one of them. Is he an option for you right now?
No, Tanner was he was not at the ballpark today. There was something going on personal, so and it'll come out later. But he was completely unavailable.
Okay, anything else? Go right here, second row.
Dave, it was Clayton's first time out of the bullpen in the postseason since I believe 2019. What did you see out of him in this stuff?
Yeah, it was just, in the postseason. He just didn't have a great slider tonight. I think, Clayton pitched off his slider. And, so when the slider's not there, depthy, teethy, and then the fastball command, he was working behind too. So, the command wasn't there tonight.
Okay. Carrie?
Dave, how much easier is it to flush this one when you have the knowledge of having Tyler on the mound tomorrow and what you have in reserve behind him?
Oh, it is. It's pretty close to being flushed already. I think if we could look back at this going in this series and said we were up 2-1, we'd have banked it with Glass going. So I feel good with where we're at. Would have loved to have gotten Duran in the game tonight, but I feel good with where we're at, and it's certainly flushed.
Okay. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, guys.
And that was Dave Roberts. Interesting to hear Michael Duarte. He'll be joining us. We're going to see him set up. NBC LA's The Michael Duarte rocking with us. But Dave Roberts said Tanner Scott was not an option. Tanner Scott was not an option because he wasn't even at the ballpark for something that will come up later. Did you hear that? I'm watching Dave Roberts live here. We're at Dodger Stadium, and for me, that's what I was just about to get into, because one thing, by the way, my man Cody Lou, former producer, big shot at ESPN, my man Cody Lou, always rock with us. You know I got love for you, brother. He said if you want the dub, you got to shove, and you need both, really. If you got to shove, you got to be able to shove. You need to get it. You really need to just do it all, shove and to slug. But one thing that I almost feel like, you can't punt a game in a 5-game series, but Clayton Kershaw going out there and getting absolutely rocked in the postseason, I think you got to go Kersh 1 inning there, but he just said that Tanner Scott wasn't even an option. And to me, that's where I think the game was lost, is going multiple innings with Clayton Kershaw in that situation. Let me get you hooked up real quick here. Actually, here you go. Can you guys hear Duarte? Here you go. We got my man Michael Duarte rocking with us here on the Dodgers Nation post-game show. Duarte, let me get you hooked up here. I think I can't put in both. This is what I'm hooked up in. I'll go this. Here, give me that. 1 second, guys. Let's go to Clayton Kershaw, and then we'll talk Kershaw after this. Here's Kershaw right after the game, moments ago from the Dodgers clubhouse.
What's the feeling that you have right now, because we know how much of a perfectionist you are?
Oh, it was just a tough couple innings there. Kind of got bailed out there in the 7th. Good play by Teo, and then just didn't make enough good pitches. I was battling command. It's hard when you're trying to throw strikes as opposed to get people out. So that was, it just wasn't a fun inning.
Kershaw, how do you feel going out for the 8th inning?
I felt fine. Yeah, I felt fine.
Did you feel like maybe they're going to come out and get you in the 8th when you was obvious you didn't really have your best stuff?
You don't really think about that. You just try and make the next pitch. It's not really for us to do. We just try and get people out, and I wasn't throwing strikes, and it's hard to pitch behind the counter.
Chris, this is not just for you, but the top of their lineup is struggling in the first 2 games. You worry about them having success tonight, maybe getting some momentum going into tomorrow?
No, not really. I think your momentum's only as good as your next day starter, right? So we got Glasgow and we feel good about it, and we'll be ready to go tomorrow. Still got a 2-1 lead, so we're in a good spot.
It's almost like you should have amnesia when you get into a position like this.
It's the great thing about baseball. There's a new game every day, So game 4 tomorrow, be ready to go.
What is your level of disappointment after that? I don't want to.
I don't know. That's kind of not a great question.
And why do you think your command was off today?
I don't know. I just, did everything I could in between. It's been a while, but threw on the mound as best I could. Just, just wasn't there tonight.
Everything looked good coming out of the pen. Did you feel good?
Yeah, felt good.
Is it really one of the great mysteries about this great game? You just don't know, do you?
Yeah, I guess so. It's fine to play the game.
Can we test him?
All right, thanks.
And here he is, Michael Duarte. Michael, he just came from the Dodgers clubhouse. What was the mood like in there? It feels like this is a game where you feel good about the fact that you have two in the bank. You could have got the sweep. No one said it was going to be easy to sweep a Phillies team that was one of the trendy picks to win the World Series. But what was the mood like down there, Michael?
Trendy pick. They were the betting favorites to win the World Series just a week ago. It wasn't until the Dodgers swept the Reds and the offense looked alive and the pitching looked good that things kind of started to tilt her back to both Dodgers and Phillies being the favorites, kind of co-favorites, I guess, as you will. But to your question, I'm sure Dodgers fans out there who have ever seen a Clayton Kershaw playoff post-game interview after he got shelled will know what that locker room was like. Kershaw was very angry. He was upset. He was short with some of the media and our questions. He called out a couple bad questions that were asked by the media. But he did kind of sit there and say that, momentum is only as good as the next day's starting pitcher. And so you look at Tyler Glasnow versus Christopher Sanchez in Game 4 with another opportunity to close this series out and eliminate the Phillies. And that's all you can ask for, because I don't think anybody would have thought that the Dodgers would have taken 2 on the road in Philadelphia. But, Doug, I don't know if you've been talking to this. I'm just crashing your post-game live stream
Go for it.
right now. But I got two things for fans to contemplate here. And I talked to Max Muncy after the game in the locker room. I was one of only 2 media members who waited around for him to get treatment, go in the shower, and come back and get dressed. And I really wanted to talk about two things. Misplays by Max that he admitted to in his locker room. One, that misplay on the throw by Pahes in the 4th inning. It looked like Harper might have been out at third base. It would have been a bang-bang play. Instead, the ball bounces off Muncy's glove. He wasn't able to close his glove around the ball and make the tag. Instead, it goes into the dugout. That allows Harper to score to give the Phillies the lead. It allows Bone to go to third, where he scores on a sac fly the next play later. And suddenly, a game that could have stayed 1-1 suddenly becomes 3-1. And not actually, not the best outcome right there. It could have been 1-1. It could have let Yamamoto keep going. It wouldn't have been as bad, obviously. So that was one big misplay. And then, yes, Kershaw had a little bit of a tough start in the 7th. He got banged around. Looked like he was throwing batting practice in the 8th. But Muncy misplayed a ground ball to third. That would have been an out. And maybe the damage is not as extensive. Maybe Schwarber doesn't hit that big 3-run home run to really break it open. So all those things came into play. I want fans to think about that. That's the game of inches that is baseball. I know we save that phrase for football, but really it's true in baseball. And you can look at every game in the playoffs where there's an inch here or an inch there that could turn the game. That was one moment. The second is, look, since Ben Rortvedt has been calling pitches, down at the bottom, am I talking here now?
No, it's both of them. We're getting both.
Yeah. So as Ben Rortvedt's been calling pitches for the last month or so, the Dodgers starting pitchers have been phenomenal. I don't know how many outings that entered into the no-hit innings, right? Outings that ended in a no-hitter or close to no-hitter since Ben Rortvedt's been catching. He's been putting down great fingers, calling great games. This is the first game Will Smith has started since September 7th. And I don't think it's a coincidence, especially if you go back and look at the tape. Whenever a guy got ahead, got 2 strikes on the count, suddenly Will Smith's putting down a fastball where maybe Ben Rortvedt would go with whatever off-speed pitch, changeup, curveball, slider that was working the whole at bat. Just keep going back to the well and go to what works. And so I just have to wonder if Rortvedt was behind the plate, does Yamamoto goes deeper? Is he pitching better like the way we've seen him pitch throughout the last month? Will Smith might have some game-calling rust to shake off, even though his bat's been pretty good. But you got to look at the first 2 games where Rortvedt started. Dave waited for that pinch hit opportunity to put Will in and then let him take over. At that point, the Dodgers are close or have a lead, and tonight that doesn't happen. They gave up 8 runs, which they haven't done in a long, long time.
I love all that. Lot to unpack there. But I think the most interesting conversation from tonight is, look, there's no secret. Shohei Ohtani struggles. Over 5 tonight, 1 for 14 against lefties this series. We know he's going to come alive at some point. The Dodgers offense overall did not do enough. Not enough opportunities. You had the Edman home run. Muncy also grounded to that big double play there when they had a chance to get back in a 3-1 game. But I think that you really touched on something I think no one's going to want to talk about. And that is the Rortvedt conversation. I mean, let's not forget, this is a Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Rortvedt goes in there in Baltimore, and he goes 8 2/3 innings and is 1 out away from a no-hitter. And the truth is, big picture, the Dodgers need Will Smith's bat in the lineup for this offense to reach its full potential, especially when you got lefties out there on the mound. I mean, Sanchez tomorrow, you had Rangers Suarez, you could face Luzardo potentially. You need that right-handed bat from Will Smith in the lineup, there's no doubt about it. And I know that a lot of people are going to be afraid to say this, but that's not what this show's about, right? We keep it the 100 here. Like, this is like the real talk, 100, keep it 100, keep it a buck, Dodgers show. And I certainly think that, sure, one of my favorite things, Michael, is 2 things can be true. I think it can be true that Yamamoto didn't have his best stuff, but because he did not have his best stuff, he didn't have the fastball. And it felt like anytime there was a situation where you needed a big out, Will Smith just called for that fastball. And the Schwarber one got absolutely tattooed. So I think it's a fair question. I took some heat on this show a couple of days ago because when Dave Roberts said that Will Smith was going to be back in the lineup, I said, you know what? Look, I love me some Will Smith. He's an all-star catcher. There's no debate who's a better hitter between Will Smith and Ben Rortvedt, but this team's long-term success this postseason is largely hinged to their starters going at least 6 innings. And Rortvedt has been a big reason why all of the pitchers say it. And it's tough to not let your mind wander there at the very least based on what we saw tonight, Michael.
Go to the post-game press conference after Game 2 of the NL Wild Card against the Reds. They were asking Yamamoto about some of his pitches, and he said at one point he had thrown something like, and don't hold me to this, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 straight sliders or 2 or 3 straight splitters, right? You know, that famous kind of knuckle splitter that Yamamoto has. And he said suddenly Rortvedt called for it again, and he was like, I don't know if I should be throwing it 4 straight times in this at bat, but he went with Rortvedt's suggestion, got a strikeout in a big spot, right? Where in this game, you know, he's going with maybe what Will Smith's saying, a fastball when you're down, and as you saw, 96 miles per hour, middle, and Kyle Schwarber sent it to the fucking parking lot. Am I allowed to cuss on this show? Sorry. He sent it to the parking lot in right field. If you were out in Center Field Plaza, over at the Snack Shack out there, Shake Shack, you probably got a souvenir, a Kyle Schwarber bomb, as you continue to mess with the mic. So
no, keep going.
I think it's definitely a great something you can ask. And look, I think the trouble is what Will Smith batted fit, I think, in the lineup today as a starter. He would have been pinch hitting probably in the 9 spot. And I think against a righty in Nola, Rortvedt would have got 1 at bat, at least in the 2nd inning, I believe. And then I think once that spot came up again, that might be the place to put in Will Smith. And maybe it wouldn't have made a difference in this game at all, but maybe that 4th inning doesn't happen if Rortvedt's behind the plate and not Will Smith. But I think the 8th with Kershaw and the implosion still happens regardless. And it's just tough. And I was talking to Max Muncy and Mookie Betts after the game. It's tough to see a living legend, a guy who we know is on his last legs, is going to ride off to the sunset, potentially go out for his last performance and appearance at Dodger Stadium like that. It's tough to see, and it's something that Dodgers fans who watch Kershaw in the playoffs over the last decade and a half know too well.
Absolutely right. I mean, it is tough to accept that. It's tough to
recycling center.
Yeah, it is. It's going crazy with the recycling, but it is absolutely painful to see what happened. Okay, let's see. We're having some audio issues here. Give me a second here. Let's see, guys. Hang tight with us here. Back now. Okay, there we go. All right, guys. All right, sweet.
Decade and a half, no too well.
Let's see. Absolutely right. I mean, it is tough to accept that.
I'm like a little
It's
echoing
tough
you. Is this working, or you want to go both?
Crazy with the recycling, but it is absolutely painful to see.
Mike is as broken as the offense. It's back now. Lost audio like Freddie. Watch.
So guys, hang tight with us here.
Engineer here, turn off D-Mac's mic to fix
All right,
phasing. Okay.
All right,
Let's see here. Hello.
Take this off and just go with that.
I tried that.
It is tough to
I'm gonna just take this off.
Is this working, or you want to go crazy with the recycling?
Just a second here, guys.
To see Mike is as broken as the offense. It's back now. Lost audio like
work.
Freddie. Watch.
Give a second, guys.
I'm gonna just take
this off.
Is this working, or you want to go crazy with the recycling?
Hello. Hey.
Mike is as broken as the offense. It's back now.
I don't know what it is. Hello. Okay, let's see. There's one audio. Is there another one? Let's see. 1, 2.
1, 2, testing, 1, 2.
Mic check. Mic check. Here we go. Here we go.
Just that one. Change that out to the
It's just that
wireless.
one. Enable down mixing. Wireless. Sounds better. I think we're money. Ladies and gentlemen. 1 second here.
You're red though. You gotta lower that. Maybe?
Hello, hello.
Mic check. Mic
Oh, okay, we're golden.
Here we go.
Okay, let's run that whole back from the top. No, we're good. So yeah, Michael. I mean, what happens now though? I mean, honestly, it's like you. I mean, what if Glass? I mean, we're not gonna see Ben Rortvedt in the lineup tomorrow, right? Against Christopher Sanchez. You need. If Will Smith's healthy, he's a right-handed bat you need against him. But it makes you kind of wonder when you review the tape and you're going to those hitters meetings. That's good. That's fine. Just kind of where they're at with that. I mean, it really does.
That's a great question. No, I don't think you're going to see Ben Rortvedt in the lineup tomorrow. You're facing Christopher Sanchez, excuse me. You know, him and Yamamoto will finish some order 2 and 3 in the National League Cy Young Award standings this year behind Paul Skeens. one thing I feel like for the Dodgers is you missed a really golden opportunity to break this game open in the first inning. Aaron Nola, I'm sure you mentioned it on any of your shows leading into it. Aaron Nola had like a 7.54 ERA in the first inning this year. Is like top 5 worst in all of baseball. Mookie hits a 1-out triple. All Teo has to do is put the ball in play and you have a 1-0 lead. And instead he strikes out. And then Freddie gets hit and you have a chance to do something and you end up doing nothing off of Nola and you let him kind of get out of that first inning unscathed when you had a chance to set the tone, put some doubt and pressure on the Phillies early, and you weren't able to do that. And the other thing is Ranger Suarez. And look, Ranger Suarez has been a great pitcher for the Phillies this year. You could argue he's an all-star, should have been on the all-star team for the National League at the Midsummer Classic. You just saw him a couple weeks ago here at Dodger Stadium. You scored 3 runs and knocked 7 hits off of him in 6 innings. Even though you lost that game because of the bullpen, you let him go out there and throw 4 scoreless innings to you tonight, piggybacking off of what Aaron Nola did. And I think you missed a lot of opportunities there. Not scoreless, excuse me. Tommy hit a homer off him. But after that, scoreless after Tommy. So that was another missed opportunity. Tomorrow, you know how we light those candles, right? The Latina candles
are there any
with
left?
Jesus on
Manny
them?
Machado.
Yeah, he did blow a lot of them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you guys have them out there in LA, find the ones with Tyler Glasnow and his beautiful flowing hair on them and light them up because we need Tyler Glasnow to shove tomorrow. We need Tyler Glasnow to pitch as he did when Ben Rorschach was behind the plate, I might add, where he took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. We need Glasnow to give us 6 shutout and match Sanchez as much and just try to get to him when you could. You know, when Sanchez ran out of gas in the 6th inning there in Philadelphia, the Dodgers were able to put up some runs on him and Teo got the home run. So not off of him, but off of Strom. But you need to be able to try to do what you didn't do against Jesus Luzardo, and that's work counts, make him work, knock the starting pitcher out early, try to get to that Phillies bullpen. And Tyler Glasnow, all I got to say is he's got to shove, and the offense has to show up. And I don't particularly like Shohei Ohtani's at-bats against Christopher Sanchez in Game 1. I don't see anything changing for Game 4.
Let's call it what it is right now. Shohei Ohtani has been largely invisible at the plate. Like, he has. I mean, he's usually inevitable. Right now, he's invisible.
Yep.
And look, if you guys want the, okay, I'm going to glaze Shohei Ohtani every single sentence show, this is not for you. I mean, this is what's really happening in the world of Dodger baseball show. And
0 for 5 tonight.
Over 5 tonight. And
so
just
that puts him at what, like 1 for 16 in the series? He's batting .170.
1 for 14 against lefties. I mean, lefties are going to be tough, especially when they're chasing. He's kind of in between, kind of taking pitches in the middle of the plate.
It looks like he's not seeing the ball well against lefties. I don't know if it just looks like he's not seeing it.
Oh, he's not, absolutely.
As well as he normally does.
There's moments where it almost feels like he's guessing. He did almost hit a home run. I mean, he hit one late in the game that warning track, almost an oppo shot.
I don't think that was off of a lefty.
It wasn't.
Was it?
It was a moment that felt like, okay, it's going to be, maybe they don't win the game, but at least he gets a nice momentum building swing there. But the issue I have tonight is you can look at this game in a couple different ways. You can look at this game as the Phillies weren't going to go down without a fight. There was always going to be trouble with this offense at some point. And to gentlemen sweep the Phillies would already be a big accomplishment.
I mean, his stats aren't too terrible against lefties in the regular season.
They're not.
But the big thing, 15 home runs against lefties, 40 against righties, in almost the same amount of, close to the same amount of at-bats, about a little bit less than 100 different at-bats. That's a lot of different home runs.
He can have, but look at Tanner Scott last year against a lefty. I mean, when it's a lefty, it can be troublesome for him. And it does look like he's pressing a little bit at the plate, which he tends to do. You're seeing big swings when you don't really need that from him early in games. I think for him, you look at the approach that Mookie Betts is having right now, it's kind of working for him. Teoscar Hernandez and Kike Hernandez just trying to make good, positive things happen, not trying to hit 10-run home runs. And I think when Shohei tends to struggle, it's when he's cheating a little bit on breaking balls down away, especially against lefties, and when he's kind of looking at that quadrant of the plate, he's almost like he's cutting the plate in half, and then he gets busted inside and he gets frozen sometimes, and then if he does make contact here, it's not hard contact. So I think for Shohei, the big thing, as you point out, is just kind of getting back to the basics and putting together better at-bats, getting account leverage to where you're forcing pitchers to really pitch to get him out. But I think they're almost pitching around him too. They don't want him to beat them, and you're seeing that with him. But I think the number one thing tonight, just kind of looking at it, is they sent Kershaw out there to die. in the 8th inning. And the 8th inning issues continue. It felt like it was, I don't want to say a carbon copy, but it felt very 2024 Dodgers today.
Yeah.
You go out there, let a dog wear it. You punt it, and you say, you know what? We got game 4 tomorrow. But I don't think you can play that game in a close game. I think that sending Kershaw out there was a mistake. I truly do.
So here's what I think. Kershaw was warming up bottom of the 6th inning as the Dodgers are at the plate. I think if they score 1 run or tie the game or take the lead, you don't see Kershaw come out for the 7th. You go to your high leverage guys. You go to the Vesias. You go to the Roki Sasakis. You go to the Emmet Sheehans, right? They have a day of rest. We asked Dave Roberts before the game if they were ready to pitch, if they were online. I think that was the formula. I think when they didn't score any runs, and you have to keep in mind the offense was lost against Suarez tonight. They weren't really putting pressure or stress on him. There'd be a hit here or a walk there, but it really wasn't like any really big damage. Tommy's home run jumped him, first pitch curveball or whatever that was. That was the only offense the Dodgers had, and they needed to get more runs in order to force Dave Roberts' hand to go to the high leverage guys, to your point. So he goes to Kershaw to come out in the 7th because they don't get run. He's warm, he's ready to go, and you just hope and pray at that point that he can keep the score at 3-1, and the Dodgers offense can come back in the bottom of the 7th, which is what Kershaw did. And of course, the Dodgers go down again in the 7th. And so at that point, if you're Dave Roberts, you kind of like have to make this call where do we go to the high leverage guys and potentially be forced to throw them back to back, whereas the Phillies bullpen is going to be rested, like multiple days of rest and ready to go? Or do we see if Kershaw can give us another? Unfortunately, they went with the latter and they got burned. And at that point, Kershaw has to wear it. I don't think you come out and pull him when it's 4-1. At that point, it's just done, right? You have to punt it. In fact, I'm shocked Dave Roberts didn't let Kershaw go back out for the 9th. Now, maybe he would have been booed and it would have been a really bad look, and it might have just been for the legend that is Kershaw instead going to Trinan. But like you said, 2024 Dodgers would let Brent Honeywell go out there and just keep wearing it. And this lends to the credence in the thought process, Doug, that maybe next round, if you're fortunate enough to advance, a guy like Ben Kasparius.
This guy's already using. You mean when?
Guys, I took Phillies in 5. I'm on record saying it. I hope it doesn't happen. Trust me. But
I got Dodgers in 4, so I'm back to my normal prediction tomorrow.
I hope you're right. Anyway,
you know, one of us is going to be right.
The point is, I could see a guy
Dodgers in 5. Maybe.
I could see a guy like Ben Kasparius taking over that kind of wear it role, the long reliever role, the mop-up guy. If
I can see Ben Kasparius taking over Blake Treinen's role and being a high-leverage guy, to be honest with you. I'd take Ben Kasparius over Blake Treinen right now.
You need a guy to go multiple in a long mop-up role. That was kind of Kershaw's role.
But in a 3-1 game, in a 5-game series, especially two, who bat in the bottom of the 8th? You had Betts, Teo, and Freeman in the bottom. You had 6 outs to get 2 runs to tie it.
And what did they do?
Well, because, I mean, by the time they got 8-1.
Still, they did nothing.
I didn't like the decision.
And they did nothing
I thought it was a bad decision.
They did nothing off of, like, I don't know, Kirkland?
I mean, look.
Ryan Kirkland?
I mean, that's fair. I mean, Kirkering.
It wasn't like you were facing Yohan Duran at that point or Robertson.
You know, absolutely. And that's the thing, too.
I'm gonna look at your chat, right? After Kershaw's final regular season start here, and we talked about it on this show after the game, your chat was saying Kershaw's going to start in the postseason. F Michael for calling him a mop-up guy or a long guy. He's going to be a closer and all this stuff. He's going to get saves. And I was like, no, you don't want to see playoff Kershaw in a moment to try to clinch a game, win a game, get the save, or even start with how stacked the starting rotation is.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair.
And you guys all wanted it because he's Kershaw and you're being very sentimental. And I kept saying that can't be the way it goes.
I mean, this season has been very nostalgic for Clayton Kershaw, right? 3,000 strikeouts and some of these moments. Tonight, it was like the wrong kind of nostalgia. Yeah, it was more of like a nightmare flashback.
Yeah.
And it's... I'll be honest with you, like... The press room was packed like sardines. Your boy was standing the whole time eating my carne asada nachos out of a helmet bucket while he was eating like Twix candy bar.
Which he went to the concession stands to pay for when we have free unlimited nachos in the
press box all
game.
Asada gives you the protein, which negates the calories from the chips.
anything can happen for you in the press box when you're with me, my friend. I could have got you a side of asada.
Okay.
He went back to the press box nachos to put more toppings on his nachos in the middle.
I walked the hell out of that thing.
Where's the black helmet? Where's this rare, super
my
rare
black helmet. I know. They gave me
helmet.
a black Dodgers helmet. Okay, let's read some comments. You can respond to them. Thanks for the super chats, ladies and gentlemen. We got $10 from Jonathan. If you're not going to put Sheehan in after Bonda got out of the fourth, why is he on the roster? Isn't that exactly where you need long relief with the state of the rest of the bullpen? Yeah, I mean, Dave talked about it a little bit before the game.
He didn't have the lead. That's the answer.
He didn't have the lead, and felt like he was a little reluctant to go to Sheehan, even though Sheehan didn't go out there and pitch when he could have potentially closed out game 2. He ends up throwing 27 pitches. He gets out Harper. Had some pretty solid moments there. But I think Bonda was one of the bright spots of the game. I mean,
100%.
Bonda...
The last time he faced the exact same guys in the Phillies lineups, he gave up a bomb to Schwarber and a bomb to Harper, and he was able to get both those guys tonight. That's a plus and a victory for Bonda.
And Dreyer came in. He walked Kepler, but top of the 6th, he was able to give you a scoreless inning.
I agree with that super chat wholeheartedly.
Struck out, yeah.
It was because they didn't have the lead. That's why you didn't see Sheehan.
But that's,
if you have the lead, I think you see him.
I think that's pure stupidity. I honestly, I really totally disagree with that approach because, Bonda, he comes in and, as you put out, struck out Schwarber, nasty four-seamer up and away. He fit a couple batters later. They intentionally walked Bone, which is a good call, but then they strike out Marsh, another slider. It was a really solid performance. I think one of the big takeaways here, I think we can both agree on this, is Bonda has leapfrogged Kersh in any type of high-leverage situations.
I think he already was there. I really don't think.
But if there's any speculation, any conversation, now it's now for Clayton Kershaw, it's mop up or bust. You put Kersh in, every inning in the postseason in a 5-game series is a high-leverage inning. And they put Kersh in a high-leverage inning, and they brought him back out in the 8th, and he did not deliver.
Of course not.
And yes, Kersh statue is going to be behind us somewhere. First ballot Hall of Famer, all that stuff. I am a devout Christian. That's my religion. But this, I think, really put the wheels in motion for tomorrow where there's going to be a ton of pressure on this Dodgers team. There's going to be a ton of pressure on Tyler Glasnow. And if you look at all the elite frontline starters, the one that you have the most concern about is Tyler Glasnow. Tomorrow is a put up or shut up, prove it game. Because there's a lot of doubters saying that he's not that guy. He doesn't have that dog. Hopefully that was Glass then, and hopefully tomorrow will be Glass now. Okay, but the truth is, Michael,
glass half empty
or glass now half full. Okay, what's the glass now half full for
the glass
this
now
game?
Half full for me is you saw it a little bit when he came out of the pen in relief in game 1.
When he loaded the bases for Vesia,
right? Which wasn't great, but we have seen Glass now half full. And that's when he's come out and dominant and has gotten 10, 11, 12 strikeouts on the mound. His stuff is just nasty. It's swing and miss stuff, right? He's arguably, I don't know the stats this guy does, probably has some of the best swing and miss stuff on the team overall. And we've seen him do it before with the Tampa Bay Rays as they made a deep playoff run in 2020 to ultimately lose to the Dodgers in the World Series. We know he's not going to shy away from the big games, the big moments. No moment gets bigger than a chance to send the Phillies home to Cancun for the offseason, going up against Christopher Sanchez, who's going to be a Cy Young candidate, who's absolutely nasty in Game 1. Now, he's rested. He hasn't pitched in a long time outside of the relief role, which would have been a bullpen day for him. You could argue he's going to be way more rested than Sanchez is. So,
that's a good point.
Yeah, I would say just he needs to go out
home
there.
ballpark where he's been more effective. Yep. It's an afternoon game.
Yep.
It'll be the second time the Dodgers see Sanchez.
There's no rain to mess him up, a slippery mound, or whatever the kind of temperamental things that threw him off his game early. He's going to be the guy. This is why you traded 2 prospects and not even 1 prospect, with a starting pitcher that they sent to Tampa to get Glasnow and then extend him to a 5-year deal.
No, absolutely.
This is why
that's a great point that Michael brings up. That's a really great point that you bring up.
You traded Pepio for this moment.
That's a great point. I love that you bring that up because in years past, tomorrow would be a game that Rich Hill starts, right?
Yeah.
Or Alex Wood starts. Those aren't guys that got 136.
Tony Gonsolin or Tyler Anderson,
or Tyler
right?
Anderson.
Or Lance Lynn.
He just gave up another home run as we speak, right over that fence. No, but those guys are not getting $136.5 million. Tomorrow, Tyler Glasnow has to prove why, as you point out, you trade Ryan Pepio and Johnny DeLuca, and you bring in Glasnow and you give him that extension. He's got to earn his money tomorrow because I think what really kills me too, and we don't know why he wasn't available. Hopefully everything's okay with Tanner Scott. But when I was watching that game, I was saying to myself, this was the game to use Tanner Scott. Like, go to Kersh one inning. I don't know if Kersh made things clear to Dave Roberts. I want to come out. I want to go back out there. Hopefully that wasn't the case. And hopefully Dave didn't just acquiesce because Kersh said that, right? You got to make your own decisions and you have to know what's best for the players. But that would have been the right situation to have Tanner Scott give you an inning and then see, as you point out, if you can find a way to tie to get a lead, and then you tap into a Roki Sasaki or do something crazy, even though Dave Roberts shut down the idea of, hey, if you need one out and you think you're going to get it, if you use Shohei Ohtani in this one to pitch somehow, some way, this series is over and everything's fine. So it was kind of a domino effect of decisions in this one. And at the end of the day, the bottom line, the number one reason why the Dodgers lost tonight is the offense scored 2 runs. And I think this falls on the right-handed hitters in this lineup, the not stepping up against lefties. I mean, Mookie Betts was able to get that triple early. He also got a single later in the game. But Teo and Kike and Will Smith, the right-handed hitters, Andy Pahes has been a no-show this series. They are the ones that need to step up against the left-handed pitchers because the lefties, for the most part, have neutralized Shohei and Freddie Freeman. And when you take Shohei and Freddie and you minimize their damage, then this offense is not the offense that was one of the best in Major League Baseball.
You're 100% correct, and I think...
Man, I'm nervous, bro.
I think Rob Thompson on the Phillies was hoping by starting Nola, he'd get Dave Roberts to commit to putting out his lineup that he would put in against a right-handed pitcher, but Dave Roberts kind of outsmarted him, put in his lineup that
I
he
thought that was funny, to be
to
honest.
for a left-handed pitcher, knowing Ranger Suarez was going to come out of the pen at some point and pitch the bulk, which he did. And that was a smart move by Roberts, but exactly to your point, and look, Kershaw is going to be the one that's going to get the blame. He had to go out and wear it, and rightfully so at that point. But this, to me, was not all on Kershaw. It was on the offense. And I can tell you because, I mean, Doug was with me most of the time in the press box during the game, but I think you left right around this time, and I was having this conversation with MLB statisticians, right? Why send Kershaw back out for the 8th? And my answer to them was, who else are you going to pitch? Scott wasn't even there. You can't trust Trinan. You've already gone Banda and Dreyer. So really it was Vestia, Roki, and maybe Sheehan, right? That's the third for the 8th inning. Those 3. I'm telling you, Dave Roberts is thinking if we tie or get the lead, those are the guys I'm going to because we have a shot to win this game and end it right now. But if my offense, which has done absolutely nothing outside of Tommy Edman all night, continues to show me they can't do nothing in the bottom of the 7th, then I'm going to let Kershaw go back out. He's a starting pitcher. He's built up. He can go multiple innings. He has many times. He did in his last start in Seattle. It backfired, but in that case, you still got 2 more shots at closing this thing and inching it and clinching it. And at this point, you got a healthy Sheehan with extra rest, a healthy Roki with extra rest, a healthy Vessia with extra rest. If you're tied or have a lead tomorrow night, you can deploy these guys. And the good news is, Doug, if Glasnow doesn't look sharp or whatever and he runs into some problems 3rd, 4th, 5th inning, you go to Sheehan who can come give you 2, 3, 4 innings and pitch piggyback behind to keep you in the game or give you a lead, whatever the situation might call for. But at the end of the day, like you said, they got to hit lefties, and tomorrow you got one of the best in the game in Sanchez. You got to hit him or you're going to be going to Philly.
You are right. I mean, there's like you are right in the sense that this does give you some protection if this series goes longer than you expect it to go, and you're going all in on Game 4. And tomorrow you're saying, we've got that full complement of arms. You've got the reinforcements with Roki and Sheehan, all the names you point out. But the issue I have, though, is just from a pure matchup standpoint. I mean, the inning got going. It was the second pitch to JT Realmuto, and he crushed a slider. Yamamoto didn't have his splitter. Kersh didn't have his slider. And that's a right-handed batter right there. And Kepler's a lefty who bat after that. And then Nick Castellanos. So you're talking about a lineup with 2 righties. I mean, and both of them you got the fielding error by Max Muncy, which is terrible on the Castellano play where he was saved. Yep. But still, I mean, you had Stott, who it's a sacrifice bunt, and then Trey Turner, a right-handed batter, and then you back up to Schwarber. I think that's the situation. If I had to pick between Blake Trinan versus, I don't want to see Blake Trinan in a high leverage spot. I think that you're already going lower leverage with Blake Trinan in that situation. And he's another guy who I think is in that same tier as Kersh, maybe like one level above, just because he's a right-hand pitcher and we've seen him in big spots in these moments in the last couple of years. But I don't think that you're necessarily burning your top level bullpen guys if you go to Blake Treinen there. And then look, I said,
not Treinen, but
that's it. I think it's fun to talk about after the fact. At the
end of the day, Kershaw was out there throwing batting practice. You and I could have fucking hit one in.
I couldn't, but you could for sure.
I could, but I think you could too, man.
Yeah.
You had those super nachos on the asada tonight to give you that extra boost. But Kershaw was throwing batting practice, guys. It was absolutely ridiculous. And I get it, but again, the offense was showing you nothing tonight, regardless of who was out there on the mound. 2 runs was not going to cut it, even if you did keep the score 3-2, right? That's the end of the day. Now, got a question to pose for you fans at home and Doug. This is a cross your fingers, knock on wood, something that doesn't have to happen. But if they don't close this out in Game 4 tomorrow, you're looking at a Game 5 Saturday night in Philadelphia. They're going to throw Jesus Luzardo, who had great success in Game 2. Dodgers couldn't do much of anything against him. And you can either go with Shohei on that extra rest that he has and has had in Japan, or you could go Blake Snell on normal rest. What do you do in that situation, and who do you start and would have come in ready to go after?
I still think that you start Shohei and then you have Blake Snell ready to go after him. I really do. I think that's certainly the plan for me. Feels like I'm getting married or something.
I got you.
And you're putting my boot in the air, we're going to prom or
you were
something.
slipping
I didn't
down.
go to
falling
prom.
off.
I did go to prom, but anyways, it was after prom that wasn't that fun, but sure was for you. But
yeah, prom was fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really tell us about it now. But my answer to that question, I'm going with Shohei Ohtani because outside of that bad play by Teoscar Hernandez, he was great. He had retired 15 in the last 17 hitters he faced. The stuff was good. It's a big moment. It's the biggest moment of his career if it comes to that. I'm not ready to go there mentally because I feel okay about tomorrow. But I think
Snell ready to go.
I would have Snell ready to go 100% because I still think that from a routine standpoint, if you can get Shohei 4 or 5 innings, you could see a world where it's a Julio Urias times 3, a Julio Urias on steroids type of appearance where it's Snell for 5, Snell for 4, not just a 2 in the third or a 3 inning like we saw in the NLCS in 2020. I think he'll close that game potentially. And I think too, if the lefties are going to do damage, obviously that's a tough call. It's a champagne prom. It really is.
It is.
Because you look at
you'd have to go Yamamoto 1 on 4 days rest, which he's only done, I don't know, once or twice.
And but I think at that point, like, I'll worry about the Brewers or the Cubs when I get there. And I think Snell, especially with Schwarber showing some signs of life, Bryce Harper showing some signs of life, obviously to have a lefty and Blake Snell in there to try to neutralize them would be big. But Shohei was really good. I mean, the curveball was playing. I'm going Shohei still. And I'm hoping that Shohei goes tomorrow and closes things out, or Shohei or Roki. But let's get to some super chats, Michael. I'm sure you'll jump on these questions too. You guys are firing away down below. Okay, $5. Ryan Montas, the Phillies, the Dodgers daddy is equally as annoying as the Braves beta troll from a year. Oh my goodness, the Braves beta troll. Ryan, nice pull. By the way, some shout outs, fans I met here tonight. Want to show you guys some love.
Guys, I got some good news.
Fire away.
Kyle Schwarber is 2 for 12 with a double, no home runs in 6 games, 12 at-bats against Tyler Glasnow in his career. Now let's check out Bryce Harper. As the recycle truck goes by us in the background. Bryce Harper versus Tyler Glasnow, 3 for 11 with 2 ribbies in his career against Tyler Glasnow. Once again, no home runs, 1 double, 1 triple. So a little bit of success off of him, but for the most part, you take it. 2 for 12. That's not great.
You like those numbers?
So you hope that Glasnow can kind of replicate that success against those 2 guys in particular, the heart of the Phillies lineup.
That's a good point. I mean, you absolutely feel good about those results. So we got Devode07-199. We need Ohtani to get it going. Joseph Tapia 199. We worried about Freeman's at bats. I mean, the lefties have been really effective against the Dodgers lefty hitters.
Freeman, man.
Yeah, absolutely. He had the big double earlier in the series, but haven't had much from him. Jonathan, $10. If you're not going to put Sheehan out there, what's after Bonda? Okay, we talked about that one. Brandon Green, not Doug. Kyle was sitting on a fastball for 2 games from Brandon Green. That's what I said. I mean,
and that's Will Smith putting down.
Exactly. Will Smith did not have a good game behind the dish from a game calling standpoint.
Ben Rortvedt would have not asked for a Yamamoto splitter against the best hitter in the National League this year.
I agree, and we're not afraid to say it. I mean, we got Rocio. Kershaw coming back with a huge mistake. I would love to know how many strikes he threw. Brandon Cheng, 499. I actually thought we had okay at bats other than Pahes. Lots of hard content. There was a lot of unluckiness, that's for sure. Got to tip your cap to Suarez, too. He was nasty.
You're right, Brandon.
Shady McCoy, 99. Do you think we go to Benny Biceps in Game 4 because we need Glasnow to be locked in early? I don't think they will, just because if Will Smith's fully healthy, he's their guy, and they need a right-handed bat.
I don't think so either.
Against Sanchez.
You think about it, and maybe you think about it in Game 5. I don't know, but I don't.
Game 5 on the road, it's tough.
Really tough.
It's tough just because they're gonna when you got you got to weigh the net benefits of it, and hopefully, like you mentioned, he could be rusty. You kind of watch the tape, think about things you would do differently in those situations. And
I have a great idea, right?
Let's do it.
You know how in the NFL, the green dot, you got guys in the headset, right? We need Ben Rortvedt as the offensive coordinator.
I love this.
Will Smith with an earpiece. Ben calls the game from the dugout. Will puts it in the pitch comm, and it's the best
I love
of all
that.
worlds, right?
We get they'll show Ben Rortvedt pacing with a headset on, and he's got the big laminated
on the
menu.
railing, he's got the menu. Yeah.
No,
he's calling the pitches.
Honestly,
and Will's behind the plate.
The future. This is the innovator here, Michael Duarte. I think better case scenario is Will Smith steps his game up and he gets on the same page with these pitchers, and we have a long extended pitchers meeting because Will Smith's the catcher for this team for the foreseeable future. You signed him to a 10-year extension. He led a bullpen last year to a World Series and 2.5 starters, and a lot of that was really good game calling by him. So you need the pitchers to be on.
There was a lot of games where you went down 5-0 really early.
Let me say this: if Christopher Sanchez and Jesus Luzardo were dominant righties, I think you could have a conversation
I agree with
of
you.
starting Rortvedt over Smith.
That's why tonight with Nola starting would have been the move, maybe.
I said it on the show. Just keep doing what you're doing. The rope-a-dope, 4 innings, tag me in, WWE style, right?
There's another thing to think about, right? There's a reason why when Dalton Rushing came back, he wasn't the number 1 catcher on your depth chart, and Rortvedt too. Rortvedt was the number 1 catcher on your depth chart starting playoff games, even when Will was on the roster but not even appearing, because that was the guy, they liked it. And we talked about this, right? It was like Will gets hurt, Rortvedt takes over behind the plate, started to call games after Rushing got hurt like the next day or whatever it was, and they go into Baltimore and suddenly it's like everyone's throwing a no-hitter into the 6th or 7th inning. Yamamoto is 1 out away from it, but then Glasnow's throwing a no-hitter for 6-7. Sheehan's doing it. Snell's doing it. And it's like, what the hell? We didn't see this months prior. It was only when Rortvedt went behind the plate that suddenly these pitchers were just unhittable.
And I think it's guys got healthy. Guys started to really get in their groove, whether it be Blake Snell come back in that first month being basically a spring training, and then kind of things fit together. But yeah, the results are the results. And maybe we need Rortcom. Not PitchCom, we need Rortcom.
And I think a part of it, to your point, is when you're getting used to a new catcher, right? You got more of a creative, like, well, you tell me what you want to do, and you kind of call this pitch and throw it. And I'm going to go out there and just whatever's working, I'm going to call because I'm behind the dish for the first time, and I don't know you as well as Will Smith. Where Will Smith might get too cute in a situation, Rortvedt's like, they're not hitting your changeup, keep throwing it. They're not hitting your slider or your thing, keep throwing it. And there's an argument to be made for that whatever's going on behind us is going on.
You're right. I think there's something about like the newness of it. Let's do some more. We got Foxology 999. Dodgers need to go full torta tomorrow. I need to go full torta. I'm going to have a torta for you.
No more nachos when they're free in the press box.
All right, I learned from my mistakes.
Go find a torta.
First of all, just a little. When you guys get the press pass, he's got the cool postseason lanyard. I came up, and I got to get mine tomorrow.
This is
he's got the golden ticket, right?
The golden ticket.
And you get a $25 voucher to get anything you want. So I used my nachos because they didn't have my fruit. But all right, I digress. Okay, let's read these comments. We'll get out of here because we got to be back here tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
Jonathan, $2. Engineer here. Okay, thank you, D-Mac. Mike, thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate you, my man. Optimal 499. I feel like every LA team cannot beat Philly team across all sports recently. Charlene OSDG.
She's not wrong. Rams can't beat the Eagles for their life.
Yeah, but hey, UCLA beat Penn State.
That's true. I don't know if that's Philly, but Happy Valley.
Sending support from Singapore.
Shout out to Singapore and
Hope
Charlene.
the players don't lose more confidence. We still got 2 wins. What's up, Charlene? Always appreciate you. Nick Ramos, 199 as a proud Christian. He deserved better. I agree. Jonathan, $10. I have Kirsch's signature tatted on my left arm, but even all say his stuff does not play out of the bullpen. He's an opener or nothing. He, of all people, doesn't want to be a sentimental pick. I could not agree with you more. I've said that as much on this show. That's not stuff that's going to play up out of the pen. A 90-mile-per-hour fastball and a slider that you have to find the feel for. A curveball that you have to find the feel for. You can't just come out of the pen and spam curves and spam sliders. So it doesn't. He honestly does not really have a role on this team, and they're kind of forcing it because, like I said, we got
pop up guy. Now, with that said, do you put him on the roster next round if you advance, or is he off? And you put on a guy like Enriquez, who's off.
I mean, Robleski
or
didn't make it.
who's off, who might be better than Kirsch, or Benny.
I think if we're just looking at it as it's not the whole farewell tour thing, I don't even think it's really a conversation when you look at the role. Like if they need a starter, it would be a no-brainer that he'd be on this roster. But they don't need a starter. They need a mop-up guy and a guy that can get outs in a 3-1 game. And for 1 inning it worked, 2 innings it did not.
Guys, you're not going to like this hot take. I would keep Kershaw off of an NLCS roster if you're fortunate enough to get there, and then bring him back for the World Series roster and look for a big lead or something to give him in and give him some success. Like you're up 8-1 and hey, Kersh, come out and get an inning.
I'll say this. I love Clayton Kershaw. My favorite pitcher of all time. But if they don't think that he's one of the best 13 pitchers that can help them win games and utilize him in certain matchups, and they think they're guys that will give them a better chance to get outs, I'm trying to win a World Series here. This is not Little League. This is not Orange Slices, Capri Suns, and participation trophies. Those are the only trophies I ever got as a kid, right?
Remember, they won their 2 World Series, and he wasn't as big of a contributor. Definitely not last year.
I mean, this is not pile on Kersh.
And a little bit
the legacy, the career is finished. It's cemented. He doesn't need to prove himself. If you feel one way about Clayton Kershaw on the postseason now, nothing's going to change based on what he does here. Maybe if he gets a nice start, a nice appearance in the NLCS, even if it's 1 inning, 2 innings, no one's going to be like, oh, that's going to erase what happened against the Cardinals and things like that. No. It's a complicated legacy. We're not going to digress. We're not going to dive into it here.
I'll tell you one inside behind-the-scenes fact about one guy who you're probably not going to see on the next roster, and that's Michael Kopech. I know he was off the wild card roster, off the DS roster, but he has been pitching and staying hot here in the mounds with Ben Kasparius and Robleski and Enriquez during the workouts. He pitched in the workout last night. The final throw he made went all the way to the backstop, about 8 feet over Will Smith's head. He walked off the mound and said, "That's it, I'm done." Had a conversation with Roberts and went into the locker room. I don't think we ever see Michael Kopech again. That might be the last pitch he throws in a Dodgers uniform. And
did you see him today?
It went all the way to the backstop. I saw him today, but this was last night at the workout he threw.
Wow,
this.
that's pretty.
So it's one guy that's not going to be on.
With us,
He's
man.
not going to be on.
We got big insider MD with us. Let's knock these out as people pay some harder money here. Tina Guzman, Dodgers will win tomorrow. Strong emojis. We got to. Let's keep going to the end here.
Someone asked.
I like this 199. It's time for the GOAT, Michael Conforto, Brandon Chang. We lost because we need a shoey from you tomorrow.
Yeah, we need
okay, I will shoey tomorrow. I promise.
I saw you do it when they won the wild card.
Yeah, I know. I said I do it for a sweep. I don't know if I guess in 4. Well, yeah, we'll talk about it.
Someone asked, "What's the game plan if?" It was a paid comment. Someone asked, "What's the game plan if Tyler Glasnow can't make it through 5 innings tomorrow?" I think we talked about it. I think it depends on the situation. If you're down a lot, you punt, I guess. But if you're still close or up, you go to Sheehan, in my opinion.
It depends, just because I think if you're going with a hard-throwing righty like Tyler Glasnow, to give him a different look out of the pen, depending on when that is, if he has runners on and it's a leverage situation, I think you go to Alex Vesia.
Yeah, you might break it up for an inning with a lefty,
with
like a Dreyer or Vesia or Banda, but then I think you go to Sheehan for
Sheehan's certainly going to get some opportunities tomorrow. I can see Sheehan going inning, going 2 innings. Roki Sasaki is going to be rested on the table. There's no doubt about that. And
you got to save him for the 9th, I feel like, though.
Oh, for sure.
You just have to.
Absolutely. He's going to be a guy that they're going to hope to turn to in the 9th inning. But as far as the path is 5-6 out of Glasnow. I think you get 1 in a high leverage situation, possibly with a lefty and Alex Vesia, 1 or 2 from Sheehan, and then you get the ball to Roki Sasaki and you end the game.
That's
so
the formula, yeah.
Glasnow, Vesia,
And you hope
Sheehan
that offense can
and Roki,
find something and break through against Sanchez.
I
Second
jinxed
time
it.
seeing
And when
him
I
in
saw
5
Michael
days.
today, I think I told you, it was like 13 consecutive games in the postseason where they've scored at least 4 runs. And then tonight, what happens?
Yep.
They
put
all
up
right,
2
well,
and
okay,
they give
let's
up
just
8.
read
They
these
haven't given
straight.
up 8 runs in a while.
Okay, 499. Shohei's been stressful at the plate. He needs a new life. Shohei to 3 or 4 spot in the hitter. Mookie back to the 1 spot. Give them that 2024 first inning momentum. We got F. Jason, Brandon Chang. Okay, we got 2 more. Kenji 109. Good meeting you, Doug, in the Demon Slayer hat. My man, appreciate you. I went up to hang out with my guy Chris Liu.
What happened?
I met him, and so I was trying to chill with my friend Chris Liu, and then all of a sudden this guy recognized me, and then a couple of people, started to feel the vibe, so I had to kind of dip. But great meeting you, true fan. We'll get him tomorrow,
Read the last
and I
one.
appreciate that.
They paid for
Padres
it.
burner 199. Kershaw goes down in history as a fraud. Phil's in 5 with the clown emoji. Padres burner. I didn't know they have the internet in Cancun where your Padres are right now, and you have the loneliest trophy case in all of sports. 0 World Series titles for the Padres. That's the longest run of any professional team in their existence from when they started till now to World Series titles. Why you have no business in this chat, but thank you for the money, thank you for the chat, and have fun on the couch.
To that guy's point, your boy here said Kershaw's no longer a first ballot Hall of Famer after that performance
come
tonight.
on, Kershaw. The stat, he's gonna be a first. That I don't think
You said second ballot. They need one more go.
He's gonna be in the. Kershaw's a first ballot Hall of Famer, guys. This hurts.
Just don't play his postseason highlights reel when you're making your vote. Right?
I hated tonight.
BBWA.
I just want to say this.
Oh.
I hated tonight. I hate that we have to resurrect that conversation. I really do. But we will be back tomorrow morning. Dodgers Dugout live from Dodgers Stadium. Dodgers fans, I like the quick turnaround. Tomorrow, let's end this at the Ravine. Let's end this on this. Fear factor. Scale of 1 to 10. What's your fear factor now that this series goes to 5 games?
0 for me because I called it 5 games from the very beginning, and I think that's kind of inevitable with these 2 teams. I honestly think, and Doug and I have been talking about this
So you think
for
the
weeks,
Phillies are winning tomorrow?
These are and this is no disrespect to the Brewers, and the Brewers have been the best team all year long. But to me, these 2 teams are the 2 best teams in all of baseball. The winner of this series, I think, goes on to win the World Series. I really, really do. And that's no disrespect to the Brewers, the Blue Jays, the Mariners, the Tigers, whomever is still standing. These 2 teams have some of the best starting pitching, best offensive lineup. I think one of these 2 teams will be there. So I think it was going 5 all along. I hope I'm wrong. I want to be proven wrong. Look, one thing I'll say, and I know you want to end this.
I know.
Tarek Skubal is going to be the AL Cy Young Award winner. He's the best pitcher, I would argue, outside of Paul Skeens in all of baseball, right?
Absolutely.
When the Tigers went up 1-0 in their division series against the Mariners with Tarek Skubal pitching game 2, everyone's like, oh, you're in trouble now, Seattle. He's going to throw a shutout and you're going to be down 2-0. And what happened? They got to him and they beat him. And that's kind of what Christopher Sanchez going for the Phillies tomorrow is like. You never know. This will be their second time seeing him in 5 days. They're
going to adjust. They're going to adjust.
They got to adjust. They have a different plan. You got to get to him early. You got to make him work. You got to use that home crowd to fuel you and get some runs on Christopher Sanchez early, take that momentum, and then get the heck out of here and close it out.
I like that. Absolutely. When you go against change-up pitchers, especially in shorter series, it sometimes takes that first game. Skubal's won. This is a Dodgers team that has guys that can have success against any type of pitch, but especially change-ups. If you go into game plan, this is a Dodgers team that's going to be locked in focus early on because you mentioned what you said about these are the 2 best teams in baseball. Whoever wins this series is going to win the World Series. Tomorrow may as well be Game 7 of the World Series.
I agree.
I mean,
treat it like that.
It
You
is
really
that
do.
intense. It is that impactful, and I think this Dodgers team is going to treat it like that. Tip your cap. I know you hate doing this. Sometimes you have to give credit to the other team. And they had a game plan against Yamamoto. Yamamoto did have his stuff. Dodgers offense did not do enough, and you lost. So I will take a gentleman's sweep against the Phillies.
There you go.
And I hope that tomorrow we're celebrating and we're going to all give it to Michael Duarte in the comments for picking the Phillies because the Dodgers hopefully win. Hopefully win. But they are going to win. So guys, see you tomorrow. Dodgers Dugout Live, a 3:08 first pitch. Dodgers fans get here early. and give this team. I will write a letter to your bosses, to your teachers, to skip work, skip school. This stadium, I think, need to be a little more electric. Mookie Betts asked the stadium to go loud and go crazy. I think they need a little more. I think they got to ratchet up just a little bit tomorrow. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Dodger Nation Postgame Show. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Michael Duarte. This is deep. Like, it's like a gaze out into the Dodger Stadium field, probably reminiscing.
I'm wondering what those credentialed media members doing there in the first row of the loge. Looking for towels.
I like it. There we go. Is that what's happening there? Probably selling some towels. But see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for the super chats. I appreciate it. Also, join the LA Sports Report, the Discord. And remember, go to NBC LA, read his stuff, follow him on Twitter, follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. And remember, Dodgers Nation, nothing, absolutely nothing brings together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and we're out.